MarzGurl.
And I'm JoshKnightTheFirst.
And welcome to episode 11 of MokkoriPlay, the only podcast dedicated solely to all things City Hunter.
On today's podcast, we're going to cover episode 11 of City Hunter, titled The Hot Woman in a Leotard Loves Tulips.
I think woman is a little bit of a misnomer. The person we're talking about is 17.
Yes, for us anyway. This is a very important episode in that when you had originally started watching City Hunter, like, what, a year ago? Something longer
More
than
a year
2
ago,
years
yeah.
ago, let's say. This was the episode I came in on where I actually fully sat down and was like, okay, what are you watching right now? Mm-hmm. And this is the one that got me. And I think we talked about this before we started recording today, that this is the first time it really feels like the City Hunter we came to know.
This is kind of the pace, the comedic beats that City Hunter really becomes. It's really finally, more than 10 episodes in, really found the kind of groove it needed to be City Hunter.
Mm-hmm. And so you can have a lot more fun in this episode. Granted, it's a little slightly on the skeevy side. We're not gonna cover that up.
No.
But at the same time, there's still the balance to it. It's still fun. It's still fast-paced. And I think it's still enjoyable.
I would agree, for the most part. You just have to sometimes keep in mind that he's looking at a 17-year-old. And sometimes maybe just think, alright, we came from Texas. In Texas, 17 is not illegal, but it's still a really weird thing to have to rationalize in your head.
I almost wouldn't have brought that up. So we start off our episode this week, much like episode 1, in that Ryo is using his sniper rifle to destroy someone else's property. Now, we don't know why he's doing it.
Yes, we do. He said he was hired by a woman who was scorned by this guy to destroy this thing of his.
Right, we do know that. He does say that. What I'm saying is, how often does Ryo get hired to break someone else's crap? That's what I'm wondering, because this is the second time within 11 episodes.
What was the first time?
In episode 1, he's got the sniper rifle over Makimura's shoulder.
Okay.
Like, of all the things he's capable of, yes, we know he's a marksman. He can also track people down. He can keep people safe. He can be a bodyguard. But the thing he's gotten most often hired for, again, we haven't gotten into the bulk of the Yakuza Princess cases that they've had to take on, is, hey, can you break something for me?
I would not say that 2 out of 11 of them are the bulk of them. That does not sound like the bulk of them.
Well, no, I'm just saying it's often enough to make me question how often does he get a request like this.
I'm gonna say not often.
But think about it. If you were so angry at somebody, it's like, no, I could go over there and break it. No, I'm gonna hire a professional to break something.
Well, I imagine the reason why you have to hire a professional is because you can't go in there yourself and just throw it on the ground.
Oh, so there's like a restraining order or something in place.
Well, the way he made it sound was that this guy had been cheating on her or whatever, or maybe she was the side chick. Who knows? We don't have enough information, but clearly this guy is a skis bag, and I don't think she could, like, if she could just go in there and destroy the property, maybe she would. Or she knows that if she went in there, they would know that she was the one that went in and destroyed the property, and she would get in trouble, so she's got to go about it some other sideways way in order for nobody to get in trouble for destroying a piece of property.
I'm just saying, would you get the same satisfaction out of it knowing you had to hire someone else to do it?
Absolutely. I would know that I got away with it and I didn't get arrested for destruction of property.
And then the next question that follows me logically after that is, how much does Ryo charge for that?
We barely know how much he charges for anything. It very infrequently pops up. We just sometimes see somebody say, I will pay you X amount of money.
Well, that is true for later on in this episode when we do actually get to our client for the week, who technically we're about to meet right now. So after Ryo is done destroying this...
It's like a statue. It's a bust.
This priceless statue, this bust there, in this person's apartment, I'm assuming.
Very rich apartment.
At the same time, there seems to be a woman fleeing from a crime that has just been committed who is wearing a very 80s leotard. Now, this absolutely has to be a nod to Hojo's other work, Cat's Eye.
Oh, 100%. There's no doubt. He loved them leotard girls.
Yes.
So.
And for those of you that don't know, we've kind of talked about it before. Cat's Eye was Tsukasa Hojo's other work about 3 cat burglars who all dress in that attire.
Right. Came before City Hunter, and it's popped up again a couple of times since. They pop up again in Shinjuku Private Eyes. So So obviously they have not been forgotten, but you can also watch Cat's Eye on, like, I think Crunchyroll and Retro Crush and stuff.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Retro Crush has it.
Yeah.
So we find out that this person is referred to as Phantom 305. That is the number that they go by, or their nom de plume, as it were. And they are committing crimes all over Tokyo. And Ryo just happens to remark, man, she got a nice butt.
Yeah, I mean, the good news is, at that moment, he didn't know how old she was. You can only hope that it was just the assumption that this was an adult. I hope.
Completely unrelated, the next morning, we find that Kaori has decided to take on a case for City Hunter that involves a 17-year-old girl.
And that's why she was as eager as she was to take it, because she's like, haha, you're not gonna be hitting on a 17-year-old. And yeah, initially Ryo is like, a child? She's not even an adult. I'm not interested. Although then he makes some weird skeevy comments about the way high schoolers dress. That's kind of weird.
He may just be into the schoolgirl, like, that's his kink.
I hope that's what...
The outfit. He's into the outfit.
I hate that I'm having to rationalize it. I hope that's all it is. God, Ryo, please. Please, man.
So Ryo goes ahead and meets up with our client for the week, whose name is Kasumi Aso, whose request is for Ryo to help her steal something. This is all sounding like it's connected. I wonder why. Now, generally speaking, Ryo doesn't take a lot of cases that are basically straight up crime.
Right.
So in this case, when it's brought to him, hey, I want you to help me steal something, he initially brushes it off. No, I'm not going to help you with that. But Kasumi here displays two abilities very quickly. One, she's got quick hands. She's able to get her hands on his sidearm. And two, she's able to quick change out of her school uniform into a very familiar looking leotard. It turns out Kasumi actually prowls around at night as Phantom 305.
Oh no, who saw that coming?
I mean, who saw where that came from? I mean, it wasn't that hard to figure out.
Right.
They spelled it out for you.
Well, they also revealed it very quickly, like it wasn't meant to be that big of a secret.
Now, I didn't want to go much further without talking about here when Ryo is on the train getting ready to meet Kasumi. You made a note of the particular line he was on, a real line there.
Oh, you mean the train line?
Yes.
Yes, that's the JR Yamanote. I think it's very interesting that they actually used the JR Yamanote and they didn't change the name of it or anything. Because actually, just earlier this week, I was playing Persona 5 Royal and they had to change the JR to the JL to avoid, like, I guess, copyright. So the JR is short for Japan Rail, and
makes sense.
It's the major set of train lines that go all the way through Japan. There's an east side and a central side. I believe the one that runs in Tokyo is JR Central. Tokyo has two different sets of trains even as well. There's the JR line and the Tokyo Metro, and they kind of get close to each other and cross paths, and together they make one big old network. But the Yamanote is really important because it's basically a big old circle. A big circle in the middle of Tokyo. So it's super famous. So if you see the one green line that's on the map of
where
all
the
trains.
train is green.
The green line. And sometimes the train, yes, is also painted green. Green line just goes in a big old circle around Tokyo. That's the Yamanote. It's super famous because it hits most of the really big spots you will ever need to go without having to do a bunch of transfers.
So really important to remember if you ever end up in Tokyo. So as it turns out, as we're going over the case with Kasumi, she explains that the item that she's looking to steal is a very personal item. It is a black tulip, specific flower that she's looking to get from a person by the name of Dr. Fritz Lang, who's this like Dr. Shinigami vampire looking guy with a very pronounced tan.
But the truth of the matter is he's really not all that special in any way, shape, or form. He's super interested in the occult and stuff, but he can't do any of it. He really believes he's got like ESP or can make stuff move with his mind.
Or at least he's trying to.
He's trying to, and he can't do any of it.
And he's keeping this tulip somewhere on his property there in Tokyo, and it needs to be stolen back from him. And you also have to get past him and his friendly butler, Sanchez.
Poor Sanchez.
Sanchez is a nice guy.
In general, yeah. I think he was just kind of easily swindled by this what's-his-vampire guy.
Fritz Fritz Lang.
Fritz Lang. I'm never
That's a weird name for a vampire.
Yeah, well, he's also not even a real vampire.
But he's dressed like a vampire.
What's up with these dudes in this show that just show up for an episode? They think they're dressed like these badasses of some variety.
It just means you're wearing a cape.
Yeah, they're just wearing these dumb capes, and they think they're so cool, and it turns out they ain't shit.
They're just holdovers from the Leiji Matsumoto era where capes were cooler.
That's true.
So we find out that Fritz over here likes to practice trying to move baseballs with his mind on Sundays, because really Saturdays are too busy to practice mind skills, psychokinesis, or things like that.
Well, also, I think it's because they're playing baseball on Sunday.
Well, yeah, because generally speaking, Sunday is the one day most people have off on a given week, because a lot of people work through Saturday, correct?
Yes, even some schools go through Saturdays as well. Nobody says, oh man, it's Saturday, I've got the day off. Every time you ever hear about it in Japanese media, they're like, why are you going to school today? It's a Sunday. They always specify
right.
Sunday.
Or when you see a lot of school anime and they're talking about, hey, you want to come hang out with friends on Sunday?
It's
you
always
go to a
Sunday.
movie on Sunday? That's how that breaks down.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, he could go practice by himself. He has his own property. I'm sure he can afford a baseball. Why does he have to do it with someone else's baseball?
He wants to try and interrupt someone else's moving baseball.
I guess. I mean, that just seems like too much trouble.
Well, I think it would be like, man, I felt really good that I had an effect on something that affects somebody else.
I guess. I mean, if you're really trying to play with that in your mind, like, oh, I can really do this, then I have to have less control over it.
That's true.
Okay. So the plan here is that in order to get access to Fritz's property, Kasumi has to pretend that she has the psychic ability, which is what she needs Ryo for, because really all she needs from him right now is his marksman ability.
Yeah, so it's like she's pretending, oh, you can't move that baseball? I can move that baseball, check this out. Bang! And then Ryo's just somewhere off in the distance, shooting from really far away. He's not even really focusing all that hard. He's just kind of moving his gun around like, oh, the ball's over here. Pop,
like,
pop, pop.
If you've ever seen that scene from the movie The Losers with Chris Evans, and he's pretending he has psychic abilities, and there's a sniper elsewhere making the shots for him,
yes.
It's exactly that.
How many shots does he make during that sequence?
I lost, because he makes the initial shot, because she calls it out like, oh, I'm going to make this...
Well, I'm talking about in this movie you're talking about.
Oh, in The Losers? Oh, I forget, because they're direct shots to kill people in that movie.
Okay.
Here, it's only just to dick with Fritz Lang and make the ball go dancing around in the sky.
Okay, so it's not like that because he's not redirecting a baseball in that movie. He's murdering people.
Yes, but it's
okay.
The idea that I can kill people with my mind. I just have to make a finger gun and say bang, and that's how it gets done.
Uh-huh. But yeah, in the anime, in this particular episode, like, Ryo just keeps hitting the ball with bullets, and it just keeps bouncing around in the air.
My only thing is I think he did it more than 6 times, and that revolver only has 6 shots.
Whoops.
Oops.
Well, she only yelled bang like 3 times.
Well, because she yells bang the first time, and that's enough to make Fritz believe her, but then Ryo makes all these extra shots, and she has to catch up like, oh, bang, 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 bang. Like, damn, we almost lost it there. You don't need to showboat.
Yeah.
So this is enough to get Fritz to believe, oh my god, she has psychic abilities. I need you to come over to my mansion, and we need to look into this. But Fritz, we find out, is also a creep, and he's like, no, I don't just want her to come over. I want to dissect her brain and figure out how she's doing it. You could just ask how she's doing it, and then maybe she can teach you. It's like, nah, I'm gonna go straight for dissection.
Well, I understand why it is that somebody would want to know how the brain works, but yeah, maybe you could, like, maybe test to see what the extent of her current abilities are while she's still living.
Which tells me he's fully aware he has no psychic abilities. Psychic abilities don't exist, except in the 1 or 2 episodes where they actually do in this show. But he's like, no, if there's a legitimate way that someone else is doing it, I gotta figure it out, because otherwise, I can't do it. Whatever it is, clearly it's not in me, because look at me, I've been out here for like 3 hours trying to move this baseball. No, I can't do it. I need someone else's brain to do it.
So he invites Lady Ma'am over, but she brings over Ryo and Kaori, both in school uniforms. Ryo being the oldest high schooler you've ever seen. He's just been held back so many times.
Well, you don't understand. It seems out of place, but over here in the States, he's perfect for the next season of Power Rangers.
That's true.
And Kaori, again, looking kind of cute in that schoolgirl outfit, definitely catches the eye of Sanchez there.
Poor Sanchez.
Sanchez has it bad.
I'm glad somebody Nobody's giving Kaori the respect she deserves, though.
Now, but you gotta take into consideration here, Kasumi is dressed up in schoolgirl attire right now, which means by presentation, Kaori is presenting herself to be of not legal age, which means Sanchez was okay with her not being legal.
Oh, why'd you have to go and ruin that for me? Because they are both adults.
Yeah, but he doesn't know that.
No, now you just to catch a predator him. No.
Mr. Sanchez, why don't you have a seat?
No, Sanchez, come on, man. Like, you're the only one who might be of Hispanic descent in, like, this entire show, and you had to turn him into this creep. Why did you do this?
Well, like, we had a guy a couple episodes back named Garcia.
Oh, there was a Garcia, huh?
Yeah. But you see, here's the thing. Maybe it'll work out later. Maybe. But of course, Lang wasn't counting on Kasumi coming over with any accompaniment, so he tells Sanchez, hey, get rid of the other two. And he's like, but even the cute one? What are you talking about? The one with the short hair. She's cute. I think she's cute. No, get rid of all of them. Well, here, I'll take care of the guy. Hey, are you a man that appreciates Mokkori? Am I? Like, I love that Lang was immediately like, yeah, I'm offering boobs. That's just what it is right now. Like, just follow me. I've got boobs. Oh, yeah, sure. I'll follow.
I mean, really.
The promise of boobs.
I think it was a pretty easy guess. Even if he doesn't know Ryo, he's like, this is a high school boy, I think. He's kind of old for a high school boy. But I'm gonna assume that he loves tits. Because he's a high school boy. Let's just make that assumption.
Excuse me, young man. Do you appreciate breasts? Why, yes, in fact, I do. Okay, follow me this way down this dark corridor. Oh, okay. Hey, what's this on the floor? I can't believe of all this stuff, because you see here, Fritz's laboratory happens to have a lot of technical crap in it. But are they going to go for knockout gas? Are they going to go for a shot in the arm?
No, he just has Sanchez carry a big metal rod with
a lead pipe.
Like a lead pipe or something. And he's like, yeah, just hit him over the back of the head with this. But of course he swings and he misses.
Because Ryo totally saw it coming.
And ends up hitting Lang, whatever his name is. He ends up hitting Lang in the back of the head instead. So that didn't really work out.
So after he's like, oh no, mate, wait, it's not what it looks like. They just go ahead and ask, hey man, where is the tulip? And he's like, well, I'm not going to tell you. I told Dr. Lang I wasn't going to do it. But Kaori's like, will you tell me?
Okay, I'll tell you exactly where it is. It's in the basement.
Oh, and then she gives him a nice cute kiss on the forehead, which is why I'm actually with you on this, that after the case is over, maybe, Kaori could slip him her number or something like that. They are both adults in actuality.
Why'd you have to even take it down this road in the first place?
I didn't do it. The show did.
Josh.
It's what the show did.
Josh.
I'm sorry. Look, he'll be out in 5 months.
No!
So they head down further into the basement where they find that Lang has an assortment of stolen items. He's just a crook in general.
Yeah, so really, he's super bad at the occult, but maybe pretty good at just being a normal-ass thief.
So they find the tulip after it's been revealed that it's in a secret room there.
Well, no, they don't even actually, they're not really the ones that find it. They get down there, they can't find it, and Lang is all like, all right, we're gonna attack them with robot bats.
Oh my god, I almost forgot the robot bats.
You almost forgot the robot bats. So he sends out all these robot bats after him, but then Sanchez is like, you know what? Fuck this, I'm gonna save my cute hottie girlfriend over here, and knocks Lang out again.
But this time on purpose.
And he's like, forget it, I'm with you guys. Here's where the tulip is, and then he opens up that secret hidden door where the tulip is.
And just the humor to me as an English speaker of Kaori trying to ask him over the loudspeaker, Sanchez-chan, can you tell us where the tulip is? Just the sound of Sanchez-chan. Mm-hmm. It's great. I love it. So once we've actually gotten a hold of the tulip, they're making a run for it, and Ryo's like, okay, we got the tulip. Now bust out the leotard. She's like, no, now's not the time. No, damn it, you put that leotard on now. That's what I signed up for. She's like, all right, fine. She changes into the leotard, and Kaori's like, you ain't getting all the glory for this. And then, like, Yakuza takes off her schoolgirl uniform.
Just rips the entire uniform off in one swoop.
Revealing she is also in a leotard.
And then Ryo's like, well, I guess I'm gonna rip my clothes off and get into a leotard. And then they stop that from happening.
Kaori hits Ryo over the head, which I think in character works because she figures, oh, there's no way he's got one on underneath.
Oh, he's probably just getting naked right there. But also, this whole thing clearly is like a nod to, remember when I did Cat's Eye? I'm Tsukasa Hojo, you remember when I did Cat's Eye?
Because there were 3 thieves in leotards.
Well, we got 2 of them.
And we can't get to the 3rd because it's a guy.
I mean, he could be in a leotard if he wants, but I guess Kaori really didn't want it. Also, I'm with her in the assumption that he probably didn't even have a leotard on underneath.
Also, even if he did, probably got a huge boner right now.
Yeah, nobody needs to see that.
If you want to see more of that, go find the manga.
Oh yeah, manga's got lots of boners. Like, you can look at all the boners you want. I don't actually encourage it, but you could do it if you felt like it.
Yeah, so they're having to leave, and the end of the episode, them escaping from Fritz's mansion, is not too dissimilar from the Uncharted games. They're having to jump over trap doors. There's an escape balloon. Ryo totally didn't make that jump to grab onto the balloon, but just kind of edged over further than he could to get onto it. And then Sanchez and Lang give chase in this old, like, jalopy, like, 1920s chitty chitty bang bang car.
It's really turned into wacky races at this point.
A little bit. And it doesn't last that long because, again, not that big of a threat. Ryo doesn't even take care of them. They escaped, and that's it for City Hunter. Lang tries to throw a stick of dynamite with his Snidely Whiplash-looking ass, throws it, and it just falls back at him, and then it blows up.
They took themselves out.
They played themselves.
Ryo
Congratulations, you played yourself.
Ryo literally didn't have to do anything this whole episode. The only thing he did was kind of make a ball move around just so that they could get into the place in the first place.
He did that, and he managed to not get hit by the lead pipe. That's all.
Yeah.
So this girl, this 17-year-old girl, has given Ryo money just to kind of chaperone.
Well, she is underage.
Yes. But also, if you want to put it into consideration, she is a thief. That money's stolen.
Entirely we don't know where that money came from.
Well, because,
it might be hers. You don't know.
Well, because,
what an assumption to make,
Well,
Josh.
Because based off what Ryo says in the episode, when they find out that Lang has stolen everything that's in the basement, Ryo says, well, I feel better stealing from a thief now.
Yeah, sure, but we don't know where the money came from. We didn't watch her steal a bunch of money from his house.
Yeah, but it's said up front she's a thief. So he's stealing from a thief again is probably how he looked at it. Even if it is a 17-year-old thief.
What? He's not stealing from her.
I mean, he could think of it that way.
That's not what he meant. When he said, I don't feel bad about stealing from a thief,
he was talking about Lang.
He was talking about Lang. He wasn't talking about taking money from the 17-year-old girl.
But he basically is.
No, you're just making shit up now. I don't even know where you're getting this. He's getting paid. She had the money, and he just did not ask how she got the money. We don't know how she got the money.
She got it from thieving.
She
didn't get it from the lotto.
We don't know that.
Pachinko. She got it from Pachinko.
It might be Pachinko.
It might have been Pachinko. Now, if you were having too much fun with this episode right now, we're about to bring the mood down really hard.
Yeah, what the hell, man?
So, the idea here is the tulip, as it's revealed, actually belongs to Kasumi's grandfather, who was trying to develop a new hybrid strain of black tulips. And you need apparently 3 generations of it gestating to make black tulips for it to count as a new breed.
So they got the first one.
They got the second one.
They got the second one.
And this one would have been the 3rd.
Except it finally bloomed, like on the car ride over to her grandpa's hospital bed. He's in the hospital, by the way.
He's also in hospice. He is on death's door.
Yeah, and it blooms. Well, damn, it's red. It ain't black. So Grandpa failed on his deathbed. Now she's got to go tell him, oh no, Grandpa, you failed. Except turns out,
what? Grandpa, he's lost his eyesight now. He can't see. He's blind. And he's asking, oh, Kasumi, is that you? Do you have the tulip? What color is it? Please tell me. And Ryo just kind of gives her the nod.
Okay, fine, Grandpa, it's black. Oh, thank Christ. And then he dies.
It's beautiful, just like your hair. Mind you, we should have said this up front. Kasumi's hair's kind of green.
Yeah, kind of a really dark green.
So, it's like, oh, man, his eyesight must have been going way further back than that, because her hair's not black. And then he died. And Ryo and Kaori are just there talking about, well, maybe he saw the tulip in his heart. And this reminds me so much of that one episode that you love so much of Japanese Spider-Man.
Yeah, in which, that's a big old explanation, but fine. The explanation is that there's a scientist who's been kidnapped by Dr. Monster, and the Dr. Monster promises, I'll let you go back to your son if you do all this science work for me. And the scientist is like, well, I only did it so that I could get a bunch of money so that my kid could get their eye surgery. I think it's a daughter, actually.
Or a daughter, because the daughter can't see, and the money would go towards eye surgery so that it could restore the daughter's sight.
So, yeah, unfortunately, Spider-Man could not save that dad. That dad died, but Spider-Man did bring back a briefcase full of money, and the kid's like, Spider-Man, where's my dad? And Spider-Man sits there and he thinks about it for a second, and then he turns to the kid and says, you'll see your dad again when you get your eyesight back. It just straight up lies.
That's the end of the episode.
Just lies to this child. So yes, this is a lot like that.
Yeah, you just gotta lie to somebody sometimes.
You just gotta lie to the blind person sometimes. God, that is so
That
mean.
is so messed up.
That is so
you see
mean.
here, though, that happened a lot in older media. You just lie to the old blind person or the young blind person that you care about because you don't want to hurt their feelings.
This is awful. I hate this.
But damn if this wasn't an entertaining episode.
But also, Rio was grabbing 17-year-olds' butts. And
he did get hit in the head with the mallet, though.
Yeah, I'm grateful that this is one of the extremely few times he does this, because even in this episode, like he says, he's not actually interested in anybody under the age of 18, but then he still did real stupid crap like this in this episode, so we gotta...
He did do the one butt grab.
We really have to pretend this episode doesn't exist, even though the rest of the episode around it's pretty funny.
Look, I like to think that Kaori did the right thing by hitting him on the head with the mallet after that, and that maybe she gave Sanchez her number.
We were kind of talking about how Sanchez might have been maybe the early inspiration for the 2018 French live-action City Hunter movie. There's a character named Poncho,
who absolutely falls in love with Kaori much in the same way that Sanchez does here in this episode.
Mind you, of course, the reason why that happens is because there's this chemical-y love potion in that movie that's making people just fall in love against their will.
With the first person they see.
With the first person that they see. So, maybe it's not exactly the same, but actually I don't think he totally gets over it by the end of the movie.
He gets over it mostly, but the manner in which they find themselves enamored with Kaori looks very similar to
That's true.
Also, in the way that they're kind of doting, it's kind of cute.
It is a little cute.
So that's my idea. If I was able to have Hojo here and ask him, was this a thing that you saw, the similarities between Poncho and Sanchez, was that a thing you picked up on as well? Mm-hmm. Or really, I should ask the director of that movie, who also plays Nicky Larson there in the movie.
Yes.
I should ask him.
Okay, good luck. I don't speak French. I speak more Japanese than I do French.
I speak as much French as the next person. They do fromage. That's all I got.
Great, thank you.
But all things considered, I actually do really like this episode once you get past the whole grab-ass part. Otherwise, it's gonna stay at this kind of comedic pace from here on out.
Thank God. This is where it needed to be. This is what I was waiting for. So if you're here from this point on, congratulations. This is what City Hunter is, minus grabbing 17-year-old girls for the most part. Thank God.
And so next week we're going to move on to another case of another person from another made-up land. Add that to the...
From fake land.
To the MokkoriPlay walking tour.
So please do come back next week when we cover the 12th episode of the TV series, Kids Have All the Luck, Beautiful Woman from a Dangerous Land.
If you want to catch us outside this podcast, you can always find us both over on Twitter. I'm at JoshKnightTheFirst.
And I'm at MarzGurl. Thank you all so much for listening to our 11th episode of MokkoriPlay. And if you don't come back next episode, I'm going to fire a bullet through Josh's windshield.
Wait, what?